Hi guys, welcome to a Year with Trees podcast. I'm your host Fatima, a huge lover and learner of trees, and this podcast is my love letter to them. I decided to take up this project because I have so many stories about them that I would love to share with others. So come along with me, let's explore the beautiful world of trees. And while you are at it, I hope you fall in love with them as much as I do. So what are we waiting for? Let's go ahead.
Today's tree is a common tree in India and is well known to many Indians because of its fruit, which is used extensively in Indian cuisine. It's a tamarind tree, a handsome tree with a spreading crown, feathery leaves, and tart fruits. In my school, there was a solitary tamarind tree in the corner of a courtyard where we used to have our lunch. Under its spreading canopy, it was perpetually cool. And although there was no place to sit directly around its base, we still used to hang around under its boughs. I remember how looking at this tree used to calm me. The dancing sylvan shadow of its branches were dreamy, and I can attribute many post lunch reverie to that tree. My friends loved it for different reasons. Its dark brown pods were not much to look at, but were much sought after. I'm not sure about the buds, but the schoolgirls flocked around the fallen ripe pods. They loved sucking the tangy pulp. I never had a knack for such sour snacks, neither unripe mangoes nor ripe tamarinds. But after so many years, I have developed a sort of fondness for them. I like to add the pulp as a sour element to some of my dishes. 20 years have elapsed since then. Yet, when I close my eyes, that tree pops in my head with a stark clarity. There are trees that simply stay in your mind, like old classmates. Even if they had only a subtle influence in your life, it's not possible to forget them or the little things that they did for you. That tamarind tree was like that friend to me. Well, it felt good walking down the lane of sweet old memories. Now let's come back to the present and learn some cool things about this tree. Tamarindus indica or tamarind tree is an evergreen tree found throughout the Indian subcontinent, and its parts have been used for various purposes since ancient times. Its fruit pod as a cooking condiment, its leaves as medicine and food, and its wood as timber and fuel. Yet tamarind is not a native tree to India. Yes, you heard it right. Even after being steeped richly in Indian culture and religions, this tree actually originated in Africa and was probably brought to India by Arabs in ancient times via trade routes. Much later, it was Arabs again who named this tree in Persian as Tamari Hindi, which means dates of India, because the pulps look similar to dates or what we call khajur. The leaf of the tamarind tree is compound and is even pinnate, which means the leaflets are at both sides of a stalk and there is no terminal leaflet. Each leaf is small and oblong in shape. From far away, the leaves look feathery, and from the understory, the way sunlight dapples through its leaf, it's cathartic to look at. Like many other members of the pea family, the leaves of the tamarind fold up at sunsets to prevent unnecessary loss of water through transpiration. During the hot and dry season, the tamarind sheds its leaves for a brief period of time. The leaves turn yellow and brown and carpet the understory in heaps. Soon after, fresh ruby and emerald green leaves sprout up all over the tree. The fresh leaves distinctly look like small feathers and are used in cooking as well, such as in dals and curries, similar to moringa leaves. I have never tried it, but it's said to be quite nutritious and beneficial to health. And once the new leaves start coming up during the beginning of summer season in India, the flowers begin blooming as well. Pink and red buds pop up all over its branches that blossom to cream yellow flowers. The flowers have five petals, with the odd petal being prominent. Honeybees lap up the nectar during flowering time, and soon after, the pods begin to form. And the fruit pod of the tamarind is the most popular part of the tree, as its ripe pulp is used all over India in a variety of dishes. Chutneys, soups, sambar, achar or pickles, sauces, curries, sherbets, you name it. In fact, even in ice creams. The fruit pod is green when unripe and turns dark brown as it ripens. The long peanut shaped pod has a hard outer casing, and the inside has soft, fleshy pulp. Depending on the variety, the pulp may taste sweet or tart and tangy. Even the seeds are useful. In older times, the crushed seeds were used to make paints and varnishes, and even these days, many local and folk artists use them. The pulp is so acidic that it is commonly used to clean copper utensils. Just rubbing the pulp all over the utensil and leaving it aside for a few minutes does the trick. Now let's talk about the bark and wood of this tree. The dark bark of the tamarind tree is rough and cracked, and the vertical cracks can easily be seen. Bark is often powdered and is used as folk medicine for a variety of health issues. The wood of tamarind is brown and reddish in color. Its wood is hard and durable, and although it may be used as timber, it blunts tools easily, and so carpenters don't prefer to work with it. The wood is also used as fuel in rural areas. The native habitat of the tamarin are tropical areas of Africa. It's naturalized in many parts of the world, particularly South and Southeast Asia. It's so common in India that many would not know that it is not native to the Indian soil. The tamarind prefers tropical climate, hot and humid, and does well in South Indian states. It's also drought resistant and its spreading canopy acts as windbreaker. The tree doesn't easily fall in storms as its branches are strong and the root binds strongly to the soil. The tree is easily found along roadsides, in house compounds, and parks in cities, while many grow in open agricultural fields. Also, groves of tamarind are planted across the country for commercial purposes and in large private properties. Now that we know quite a bit about this tree, let's see how we can use this knowledge to identify it. During the fruiting season, an enormous tree full of dark brown pods is a great way to identify it. Also, check for the even pinnate leaves, small and round, and deeply cracked bark. To see how its leaves look, please check out my blog for more resources. And that's a wrap. Hope you all tune in to the next episode, which will be about the famous moringa tree. I hope you enjoyed today's episode about Tamarindus indica or tamarind tree as much as I enjoyed narrating it. For this episode, I refer to several field guides, books, and journals for tidbit of info and my own observations. You can find a list of all the tree related books that I usually refer to in my blog. You can find the link to the sister blog in the About tab. Do subscribe to the podcast in the app of your choice and share this podcast for the sake of tree love. Also, your reviews are very welcome. Thank you all. Stay tuned.